It's not every day that someone walks into your front room and says, would you like to go to Norway in the middle of the winter, camping on a motorbike? And I went, let me think about that. I spoke to my wife. She said, like, whatever. And I went, okay, let's do this.
So that was the first time in winter on a motorbike, camping outside, going to North Cap.
Yes.
And so what other firsts did you experience on that journey? I guess there were obviously many.
Well, I'd never planned a project like that before. So I had to look at logistics. Mm-hmm. I had to look at getting the bike ready, finding clothes that would fit me. I'm a big guy. Finding camping gear that would suit me. Like, I'm a big person again. I'm going to repeat that a number of times, but I'm not your average person in any shape or form.
We're all kind of, yes. Hopefully not average, but in many ways.
In many ways. So, so that was the first. And I was fixated on, because I rang a lot of companies who said, I can't help you, I don't have that. And bit by bit, I overcome those obstacles. And we were prepared. And Declan was so enthusiastic, because sometimes you meet obstacles, and Declan's energy helped me overcome that. I spoke to a lot of people. They said I was mad, and I'm up here 12 weeks later, and they're still telling me I'm mad, but I completed the task.
And I see the smile and the energy, I guess. What did you experience once you started the journey?
Well, the logistics, as I said, was the very first part. And once I got over that and felt I had the necessary supports, we sent the bikes a week before we traveled ourselves over to Lithuania, where we met a colleague of Declan's, who kindly took us in, and brought us as far as Tallinn, where we got the bikes going and drove onto the boat, got the boat over to Helsinki, and then our individual things started to happen. I contacted a guy called Carrie, who manufactured tires with studs, tires with studs. That's the first. And he sold them to me, and he organized it with a friend of his to change them out in Helsinki. That was with Mikko and a son too. I would pronounce that wrong, but fabulous guys. And my bike, when it was brought over, it got broken. The stand was broken. And they rang a friend of theirs called Yanni. So I drove down to Yanni, and Yanni welded my stand back on. And then my helmet that was meant to arrive from America didn't come. So I got through to a guy called Henry from the Skidoo shop in Helsinki. I went over to him, and he fitted me out of the Skidoo helmet. And lucky enough, it was the right size, and he thought I was mad, and he took a picture, and because there was a bike show going on in Helsinki. And so when everything was put together, that was the first time we put myself, the gear, the bike, everything together. And then I was asked to travel on an icy road, which wasn't icy. Yes, it was standard asphalt. So we drove down the road. I got on quite well. I was quite proud of myself. Took 2 hours to where I was going, and I met up with Declan. He had to go through the same process with his contacts, and we met up in a base camp. We call it base camp. Yeah, and that was it.
And then you started riding up and up and up and up until you reached North Cap.
Yes.
Were there maybe one or two very special firsts between, I mean, let's say Helsinki and the North Cap?
Oh, every day was a first.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'd never been away with Declan before.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how Declan woke up in the morning or how he went to bed at night. I didn't know his insecurities, and he's a bit of DCO. Well, it's OCD, but I mix up the letters just to fuck with his head.
Yeah, there's a few things I learned about Irish humor, right?
Yes,
You're from Ireland,
funny.
so
that's
I'm
really
very,
funny.
Yeah, you're very fond of each other.
Yeah,
And you
actually
showed that.
very fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, but we got on, and he was quite inspirational. And he says, "This is what we're doing, and you're going to do that today, and that's fine."
Mm-hmm.
So I had a target. We drove, and then we got to drove, and then there was a whole energy that I didn't expect. I didn't expect to lose so much energy looking for a place to camp. And when we got there, then it was our very first place was beside a sewage plant.
Was it what?
Beside a sewage plant.
What is that?
It's where when your poo-poo is
So at least there was a toilet in the wilderness.
I know. And I said, Declan, this is not going to work, like, you know. So he said, I'll be back in a minute. And he drove up the road. He met this guy called Nico.
Okay.
And Nico says, "You're mad. You need mental health." But he said, "There's a place over there you can stay." So he found it in this clearing in the wood. Mm-hmm. We went in there, and that was our first night. We stayed in a tent. It was my first night staying in a tent, mm-hmm. and it was minus 25 degrees, and it was horrific.
I mean, you're laughing now, but was that also the state you were in that first
wrecked. Night? After the driving, like you only had a couple of hours during the night or during the daylight hours, and it was only 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It was getting dark, and we drove till 7, and then we had to go and get food in the supermarket, and then we had to look for somewhere to stay. And then he found Nico, and by the time we were ready, it was 9:30 before we were ready to camp. And then I'd never opened a tent before, so we took out the tent and tried to figure out how that went. And after a long debate, it turns out where Nico put us, there was a kind of a little building that I could lay down and put in my tent and my sleeping bag. And so we did that, and had my sleeping bag down, and it was my first time sleeping in
a sleeping bag.
In a sleeping
outside,
bag.
In the wilderness.
In a foreign country with someone I didn't know. And we had a few beers in us, and Nico was there. He was a little bit tipsy. And anything could have happened. And it turns out it was beside a military base as well.
Yeah. As you found out in the morning.
In the morning, that's just correct.
Yeah. So, and you didn't think like things like, oh, I wish we could just go to a hotel, or why do I need to stay out?
No. In fairness to Declan, it said we will be camping until we got to the toughest. Now, the toughest actually, I think, was that particular night. I'm wrong in saying it was minus 25. That night it was minus 16. It was the following night. It was the minus 25, and it was actually different. There's a big difference between minus 16 now and minus 25. Yeah. That's when I put up the tent in the minus 25. When you breathe, the room became full of condensation.
Yeah.
And it froze in the inside. It's crystallized. It looks spectacular.
Wow.
And as you lie back and you're going, wow. And I hope to God I don't hit it and it falls down and punctures me and I'll be dead like glass. But so, and another thing I learned for the first, I was packing the tent for the first time, and it had increased in size. I couldn't get it back into its package.
In the cold.
Yes, because the condensation had made the packaging bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was.
Maybe I think so. It's a real education, I guess. Very educational.
Every minute.
Yeah.
From we would start one day in a certain weather condition, and then 8 hours later, after going through multiple different conditions. And the one consistent thing was through it all was the people we met. We would stop for petrol. They would come up out of the blue and say, "Hey," and you ever done what? I'd go, "Sorry, I only speak the English." and they would say, where are you going? And we'll say, "We're on a trip to Norway and we're camping." Are you mad? It was the consistent team all the way through.
And did that influence you in any way, or you were just sure you would stick to it?
I was halfway through and I was getting a little bit proud of myself that we were doing this. And then wondering if people kept saying we're mad, like, will we get there? You know, there was a question mark. Will we get there? You know?